Hi, I'm David Begor, and this is Friends, Loves, and Life. There's something really cool and powerful about the rituals we inherit. You know, like the recipes that get passed down, or the holiday ornaments we carefully unwrap every year to place on our tree. For many of us, family and tradition aren't just part of who we are, they're the thread that holds the whole thing together. Some of us are shaped by the traditions of our families, rooted by the connections to our past, and grounded by the rituals we carry forward. My guest today, Kevin Chiodini, is just such a person. Kevin invites us into his world where tradition and authenticity shine just as brightly as the crystal goblets you'll see in his china cabinet behind him. We talk about what it was like coming out in his 30s, his journey from Rockford, Illinois to Palm Springs, California, and the deep roots of his family traditions, and the surprising joys of being what he calls a routinist. Kevin is funny, he's thoughtful, generous, and grounded, and his story is a great reminder that embracing who we are, no matter when we get there, is always worth it. Here is my conversation with Kevin Chiodini. Hi, Kevin.
Hi, David.
Hey, Kevin, how do you pronounce your last name?
My last name is pronounced Chiodini.
Chiodini. So the
Chiodini.
CH is like a K sound.
Yes, it is Northern Italian. My father is, one half of the family is from Lombardy, the other half is from Tuscany. It's actually mostly pronounced in Italy, Chiodini. But a story I can share with you is, so when they immigrated over here to the United States, we actually immigrated through Texas, not through Ellis Island.
Okay.
And then they went from Paris, Texas, up to Rockford, Illinois. And Rockford was predominantly Swedish, German. None of them could pronounce Key-oh-dee-nee. So my understanding was we Americanized it, like it's spelled Chiodini. Well, Chicago is spelled Chi. So we used to pronounce, or they still pronounce it in the Midwest, Denny, like Chicago.
Oh,
And
okay.
a lot of people did get Shadini. We still have, Chiodini, or they sounded out.
That's how I sounded it out. Chiodini.
Yeah,
So.
that's okay, because so when I moved out here, I'm like, we're gonna pronounce it like they do in Italy, how it should be pronounced, in my opinion, because it's my last name.
Yeah.
Pronounced Chiodini.
Chiodini.
Now, Chiodini. Now, I was pronouncing your last name wrong.
Begor.
I was saying David Begor.
Begor. Yeah. I get a lot of variations on it. When I was in middle school, 7th grade, we were living in Tennessee, and some kids for some reason, had a hard time pronouncing my last name, so they called me Beagle. So I spent the whole 7th grade being called Beagle. That was my nickname.
And how did you take that?
Yeah, I didn't care. That's fine. Yeah. Did you grow up in Chicago?
Well, I grew up in Rockford, Illinois. I was born and raised there.
Okay.
And I left there in 2018 to come out here.
Do you have siblings?
I do. I have 2 older brothers, and my mother is still in Rockford.
Okay. Yeah. So Kevin and you and I, we met at, I was going to say Gold's Gym, but that's not right.
Well, it started out as World, and then now it's Steel.
Steel, yeah. And we've never really hung out outside of the gym, because you never asked me to lunch or anything like that. So
you've come over for a few pool parties.
I did. Yeah,
and my birthday party.
You're right. I have come over for a pool party.
Or two.
But
yeah.
Yeah. So tell me about growing up. Were you an out teen?
No. Rockford, Illinois was I thought it was a great place to live and grow up, but it was very, very, very straight, churchy Midwest. So no, I was not out at all. But I enjoyed my childhood. It wasn't perfect by any means, but it was a good childhood, and went to good schools, and had a good relationship with my mother and my brothers. But no, I didn't come out until I was in my early 30s.
Early 30s? Interesting. So not in
Uh,
college, not...
no.
No.
I just didn't feel
experimenting.
Oh yeah, yeah. I was experimenting and what have you, but I didn't come out like to my family or anything.
Okay.
It's Italian, Irish, Catholic family. I even had an aunt who was a nun, so it just didn't feel right, and I didn't want to upset anybody or disappoint anybody. But by the time I was in my early 30s, I wasn't really bringing around girlfriends or anything. I think they were intelligent enough to do the math, be like, maybe he's gay.
1 + 2.
Yeah. And then obviously with my sense of style and how I decorated my entertaining, it just so. And honestly, I came out to my immediate family. I never really went up to everybody going, I have something to tell you. That's just not how I did it. That's just not how the person I am. If you were to ask me, yeah, I'd tell you. But I'm not going to be like, I have this big announcement to make to everybody. No, that's just not my style.
Can you tell me about that coming out journey while you were... So you came out in your 30s, but can you tell me what sort of spurred that to be more open?
A couple things. I was getting to the point where it's just like, okay, I think they're figuring out who I am, and also too, I don't want to, not like sneak around or whatever. I want to be able to, if I meet somebody, to be open and honest, with my family and the friends people I love. So, so I'm like, I need to tell them, and I did. Another thing is at work. I worked 13 years at a fertility clinic.
Okay.
And one of the drug reps outed me.
He outed you?
Yeah. I wasn't really telling or saying anything to anybody. Again, I think they could figure out, that I was, but, And then all of a sudden we were... drug reps used to bring us lunch, the whole office. And then I was in the break room. And he's like, oh, yeah, I saw your profile on so-and-so. And Brooke, our embryologist, was in there. And I'm like, yeah. And I kind of walked out.
So it wasn't... he didn't do it maliciously.
No. He didn't do it maliciously, no. And, I mean, on one side, I was like, I get it, I understand. You thought I was out. You were just talking to me. But on the other hand, I did have a conversation with him. I said, you kind of got to be careful. I mean, for the person that you're talking to, and, even for yourself. Again, this was years ago.
Right.
So, but he was way out. I mean, he was gay. He, in fact, had his own son. He went through IVF. He got an egg donor, gestational carrier. He's got frozen embryos. So, I mean, he was super out, which is great, At that time, I was just starting to come out, coming to terms with it, trying to figure out what to do and how to do it. And that also kind of, accelerated. And honestly, it was a good thing, it was kind of after that, it was a sense of relief. Like, okay, everybody knows, they're fine with it. Um,
Anyone give you a hard time?
no, no. Mm-mm. I was like telling, everybody's like, okay. And I remember my nurse practitioner, Shelley, she's like, I know, Kevin. I know. and that was kind of the reaction, with, like I told my best friend's mom, and she's like, I know, Kevin. That's what I would get. Like, okay, but, so yeah, that was my journey or process of.
It's funny how we build it up in our heads to be bigger than what I mean, it is a big deal, but we sort of in our heads sort of make it out to be like, oh, I don't know how people are going to react. I don't know.
Yes.
And the people closest to us, like you just said, probably already knew.
They already knew, and they love me, and they love us, and they want the best for us, and they want us to be happy. So
yeah, and they respected you in waiting for you to make it your choice to come.
Right. And that's the thing I'm coming across as I get older is, a lot of times the anticipation is worse than the outcome.
Yeah.
It is.
Yeah.
At least for myself,
in anything.
Like yes. Sometimes I'm just like, oh my God, what's going to happen? Or I'm reluctant to go somewhere or wear something. And then it turns out, everybody's fine, everybody's fun, everybody, loves what I'm wearing or whatever.
Can I ask, do you identify as gay?
Yeah. Oh, yeah.
Not non-binary or queer or just gay?
No, I'm a gay man.
Just a gay man.
Yep.
You
just
gay.
A gay man. I'm just, yeah. I'm just stating a fact, not an opinion. I don't have like all the pronouns or anything like that. I'm just
you.
Regular old gay man.
So how do you think that you have evolved from that coming out experience to where you are now in life?
I've learned a lot. I've matured, and I've also tried to, in some ways, different people help or mentor them when I've come across them in different aspects of my life, especially younger people. Some people have come to me, or in conversation or hanging out, and I'll just be like, "Hey, look, this is how it really is," or "This was my experience," and just hopefully sharing that with them helps them.
Yeah.
With their journey.
Yeah, I think it's kind of important to be authentic so that people can see, oh, I can live that way as well, and I can be comfortable in who I am.
Yeah, I mean, I feel I'm totally authentic. I don't have the time to not be authentic or who I am. And you know what? I am who I am, and I don't care.
Well, that's actually one of the things I really like about you is because you come off as this person who is just really comfortable with who they are. You are, you project this sense of love and acceptance. And I really like that about you.
I try to find love and positivity in everybody that I meet.
Yeah.
I try to also look at the bright side, positive side of things. But yeah, I'm 50 years old. I'm not going to try to put on airs. I'm not going to try to act differently, change the way I live. I mean, my house is pretty much Grandmaville. I mean, I have, as you can see behind me, I have all my crystal and china. I have, I just put up pinch pleat drapes and my furniture, and that's what I like. That's what I'm going to do.
Well, let's talk about your crystal then. How did that all begin?
It began when to go back, my grandmothers, my mother, like my Aunt Janet, they all had their own stuff, and then they would entertain. So when they entertained, they would bring out their china, their crystal, their flatware. Um, I remember as a little boy, okay, son, my mother, she'd be like, "Well, I gotta polish the silver." So she had you can't see behind me. My grandmother's silver plate, that's sterling, coffee tea service. So we would pull that out and we polish it, and she'd tell me about, she would register for when she got married at a place called Haltberg's in downtown Rockford. She registered for her china and her crystal and her flatware. And my Aunt Janet did the same thing. I thought it was fascinating. So, anyways, going forward, when I bought my first house, I was kind of rummaging through my parents' house looking for stuff to use and fill it with. And I came across this box of crystal from my grandma Chiodini. It was, my understanding, it was a set she bought at a sale years and years ago, probably. And I think it matched her original wedding set.
Oh, wow.
So, being the Italians that we are and how we preserve and keep everything, I think she bought this set to use, and then the other set she just probably had a display or never touched. So, anyways, I asked my dad, I'm like, what are you going to do with this crystal? He goes, I don't know. I don't want it. Nobody else here. I don't know. Throw it out.
No.
No. So I took it, and after a while, I got a dining room set with a little china cabinet, and then I started probably displaying it. And then through the years, different things happened. My mom gave me my grandmother's coffee service, and then had her Fostoria. It's called Fostoria. It's pretty fancy, well known. She gave me that. I said, "What are you going to do with it?" She goes, "I don't know. I don't have any place to display it." I said, "Well, can I have it?" She's like, "Sure." And then people have given me different pieces. I've collected different pieces, and honestly, this stuff, which is to my benefit, a lot of the stuff that I like and what's going on right now with china and crystal is mega cheap. Nobody wants it anymore. Nobody likes it. So
That's interesting.
when it goes up for sale, or I see it at Revivals or Angel View or whatever, it's mega cheap.
What's your oldest piece?
Probably my grandmother's crystal, 30s or 40s.
Is that what's right behind you?
Yeah, the shelf here is Grandma Chiodini's, and then the top shelf is my maternal name was Dish, Disch. Up top there, that's the Fostoria. I used to use Grandma Chiodini's for entertaining, but I don't anymore. So basically, it's just on display. You can look at it, but don't touch it, because if you break it,
I will come I will come after you.
Yes. When my mother downsized, I took some of her crystal. She had my parents bought sets later on for entertaining and using, so I took that. So that's what I'll use when I set my table. It's I think it's called Champ, something Champ. Anyways, it's very common crystal. You can get anywhere. So I use that. In fact, I was entertaining a few years ago, and my friend broke one of the champagne flutes, smashed all over the floor and whatever, and they're all like looking at me like, "My God, Kevin's gonna," So and I looked. I'm like, "Okay, clean it up," and they're just like, I said, "It's fine. I can get new ones." I said, "You break this stuff." Anyways, I was out with a friend last weekend. We went to breakfast, and then he wanted to go over to Revivals, and I found the matching flute.
No way.
Flute at Revivals for $3.
That's awesome.
Yep.
So it came back.
Now my set is Now my set is complete again.
Do you ever go to that store, Market? there?
No, where's that?
It
I
is.
probably should go there.
It's over by. Oh my gosh, I can't remember. So if you take, when you take Palm Canyon and it goes over the wash, and to the left, there's like I think it was an old grocery store, and I can't remember what it was called, but it's like a Spanish design mall, and
Okay.
in it is this place called Market, and it's mostly consignment stuff. It's a great, I mean, there are amazing things in there. I just go sometimes just to walk around and like, I mean, things are like, $11,000 couch, $2,000 pillow, like all these kind of things. And then there's a whole bunch of like $3 for this ball or like, you know,
There you go.
so
Yeah, I that and Vintage Market. I'm actually banned from. I cannot go there. Um,
Vintage Market, where's that?
that is used to be at the old Camelot Theater, or the Camelot Theater, but they moved over off of El Cielo. So every first Sunday of the month, excluding summer, it's a huge parking lot, and people rent out booths, and they come in at like 3 or 4 o'clock in the morning and set up, and it's all this different vintage stuff, and it's a lot of nice stuff, and I bought stuff there. I don't go anymore because it's dangerous. I mean, I could literally have my own market, my own booth. That's how much
So it's a
stuff I have.
self-imposed ban.
It is.
Because you'll just spend too much time and money there.
But I can actually. What's fun for me is, like I remember a gal I used to live with when I lived in a triplex. We would grab some lunch, and then we'd go through all the shops down off of Sunny Dunes. That's a fun afternoon to me.
Yeah.
Just tooling around those shops, and you'll see stuff like you remember from your childhood or your grandparents or whatever. That's fun to me. And most of the time, I can restrain myself and not get anything. But once in a while, I'll see something that is like,
Because you have this collection and you know enough about it. Do you know enough to know when you see a piece that it is worth more than what they're selling it for?
sometimes,
Like, are
but
you?
mostly, yeah. But mostly, I just see stuff that I like.
Yeah.
That's really cool, or it's really ornate. You take the glass and you flick it and you make rings, and then it's really crystal. And
Sweet.
so
How many pieces do you have?
I,
No, you don't know.
I have a full curio floor to ceiling full of vases and goblets and stuff, and I have this, and I have now 5 different sets of china.
Do you bring them out at holidays?
Yeah, when I used to entertain, and I need to start entertaining again. When I set a table, it's all out. Like I
Sweet.
have chargers, cloth napkins, the flatware, all the crystal, all of that stuff. Because it's fun to me. It's a lot of work, but it's fun for me.
Are you a big holiday decorator too? Do you like do the whole
Yes.
thing? Everything is.
Yes.
What was that?
That was my cuckoo clock. That clock that calls me names. um, yeah, I actually I have 2 Christmas trees. They're small, thin pencil ones, but yeah, because I have a lot of vintage family ornaments that I put out. I have a lot that were given to me. Some of my grandmothers, I have ornate stuff from Grandma Chiodini, Grandma Dish. I have her shiny brights. I don't know if you know what those are. Those are vintage ornaments, probably 40s or 50s. Just they're round balls, but they're all hand painted, cool, different colors, and sometimes they're different shapes, and they're shiny and they're bright.
That sounds
So
cool.
yeah, and then I do a lot of baking at Christmas too. I think did you come to my Christmas party? Am I
Yeah,
over?
actually, the first year we were living here, I think you had one.
Yeah,
And
So
you're into that.
everything that was on the sweet table, all the cookies and stuff, I baked. Again, those are recipes from my grandmothers. They've made through the years, and we've always had every Christmas. So as a tradition, I make the same.
Wow, I love that like family is a big deal to you.
It
The
is a big deal to
tradition of
me.
family
Tradition and family.
and the passing down of things, that's very cool.
Yeah, I cherish. That's like a lot of this stuff that I've inherited or has been given to me, even non-family. It's sentimental to me. There's a history or story behind it, and I will always keep it and I'll always cherish it. Um, and people call me an old soul, and I guess I am. I decorate like an older person, and
Well, you're very
like
connected to your history.
yeah, yeah.
I think
I
that's
mean,
awesome.
yeah. I am. The two major trips I want to take are to Italy and Ireland because I'm Italian Irish. I want to go back to the towns where I came from.
Do you know of family back there in
No,
either place?
I
No.
don't. No, I know there are still Key-oh-dee-nees um, in Italy, um, and my grandmother's maiden name is Finnegan, so I'm sure there's plenty of Finnegans in Ireland. I think,
It's probably like Smith.
yeah, probably. I think from County Cork, but that's one thing I need to work on is to get the Irish family history from my uncle Bob. I think he has it. He inherited it when my grandma passed. My aunt Janet did a really cool thing where she made us like all like these spiral notebooks, and she wrote out our whole family history of both my grandmother and my grandfather, where we came from, pictures and everything. So all of us grandchildren have that documented written history.
That's really cool. That's something I
It
wish I
is.
had done with my mother before she passed away. Because I have all these photos of people that I don't know who they are and photo albums from her that were passed to me. And I'm like, I don't know who most of these people are or what
I
their
know.
connection is to me, which is a bummer, right?
Yeah,
It's
I
like
know.
history that disappears.
I know. And it was my maternal grandmother, Finnegan Dish. She lived to be 102.
Wow.
I spent a lot of time with her. I used to take her to church and all of that. It was somebody at her funeral was like, "Oh, did you guys ever interview her?" And it was just like, oh, "Damn!" Like, because I remember her talking about like back in the day there were wooden sidewalks, and horse and buggy, and things like that. Just to have sat down and gotten the camcorder out or whatever and
Camcorder.
yeah, well, that's what it was. And interviewed her, that would have been great. But anyways, so yeah, I'm big on family, big on tradition.
When you are baking, do you have the actual original recipes, like with notes in them from your grandmother or from your mother?
No, they're my mother or aunt recreated them for me, so they're not
Okay.
the original cards or anything like that. But they've been so. I mean, eventually one day I'll probably get the original stuff, but I can wait for that. Um, but no, they wrote them out, and I remember learning. I was so intimidated because my grandmother and then my aunt Janet used to make biscotti, and it was so intimidating. Like, oh my god, that just seems so difficult to make, and oh. So I asked my aunt Janet, I said, "Hey, will you teach me how to make biscotti?" She's like, "Sure." So I lived in Rockford, Illinois, which was northern Illinois, and she lived in Crystal Lake, which is a suburb of Chicago. So my mom and I drove in there one day, and she showed me how to do it, and we had lunch. We had a great time, and it was again the anticipation was much worse than the outcome because it's not that difficult. I mean, it's
Really?
so easy. Yeah, so easy. I mean, I just taught my friend at Christmas time. He wanted to learn how to bake biscotti, so I went over there, showed him how, and he was just like, "Wow, this was easy. This was great."
That's really cool.
So yeah, I should start a Palm Springs
You
baking
should.
school.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I don't remember if I asked you, but what is your favorite piece of all the crystal? Did I ask you that?
My favorite piece, probably it's just the two different sets from both grandmothers are my favorite pieces. Because you know, they're so dear to me, and I think they're so pretty and they're cut. And in fact, Crystal,
That's okay.
this podcast is
You love it.
it just dawned on me one day because I've been looking for because a couple pieces have broken. The other day, a couple weeks ago, I'm like, when you are on your phone, if you have Google and you press the camera and you take a picture of something and it finds it for you.
Yeah.
Well, I found more of the crystal on Etsy.
Tell me about the gym, because you're there a lot. I mean, you're there for what, a few hours in the morning.
Yeah. I guess I'm kind of a gym rat. I mean, I always say I don't look it. I mean, I'm not buff and ripped and have big muscles or whatever. Um, yeah, I am there kind of 6 days a week. And I'm one of those crazy people who wait outside the door. Not
Was
right
it?
up at the door, but waiting for them to open it. Because I'm in a major routine. I go to the gym and then I go to work every morning. It's just my routine.
Are you are you a person who just loves routine? You have to have a routine.
I'm a routinist.
Yeah. A
I am
routinist.
that's what I call it, a routinist.
Yeah.
To the point where it's kind of a negative thing.
Why do you say that?
Because sometimes if I something comes up and I get out of my routine, I'm starting to get a little old and ornery and like, yeah, this is breaking my routine. I got to do something different.
Yeah, Derek is really big on routines. He likes to have a schedule, and this is what we do when we're doing it, how we're doing it. I'm
100%.
sort of the opposite of that. I'm just, whatever comes up, let's go do it.
Well, opposites attract. Yeah. So yeah, I get up in the morning. I'm waiting at the door. I get in there. I try to do weights for an hour, and then I do about cardio for an hour, being the elliptical, or I do spin twice a week, Tuesdays and Thursday mornings.
Yeah, I see you clicking around in your spin shoes.
Click clacking around, yeah. I go to the gym for a few reasons. One primarily is actually to work out for my health. First and foremost, I have heart disease.
Okay.
I have the start of blockages. My father had his first heart attack at 40.
Wow, that's young.
And yeah, and well, he smoked and he had other factors. But throughout his lifetime, not all at once, he had a total of 12 bypasses.
Oh my God.
Yeah, so I'm fighting against that. I saw what he was going through in the ICU after they cracked open his chest to do the bypasses and the tube down his throat. And I'm like, oh my God, I do not want to go through this. So I'm there every day. The cardio aspect of it for my heart. Side note, I'm almost a vegan. Not all the way, but a lot when I can control it. And, and the other aspect of it with the weights is as I, obviously get older to try to maintain muscle, as well as we have a lot of arthritis and inflammation in my family. So, and back issues. So, working out helps combat that. So, I feel that whatever I'm doing is working. So and I know when I don't do it, I feel it. So I just do it as much as I can. So.
Is it a routine that you have figured out yourself, or did you work out with a trainer?
I worked out with some trainers, actually back in Rockford.
Okay.
So I've kind of incorporated that. I should, and I've been saying this for a few years, and I just need to, bite the bullet. Um, is get with another trainer to change things up, because I'm a routinist at the gym too. Which is a bad thing. It's like, every Monday is arms, and Tuesday's chest and back, and Wednesday's legs, and it's like people can like figure out it must be Wednesday. Kevin's doing his legs. That's to that point. So yeah, whatever the trainers that I've used, or people have shown me, or actually some tips I've picked up online or like Instagram, I've incorporated in my, and I do want to.
I had a question.
So, and also the social aspect of it too is huge for me. It's a really, really good group in the morning.
Yeah, it is.
I can't really say how the other groups are out through the day, because I don't know, because one, I'm working all the time, and I've never really gone in the afternoon or evening. So those could be great groups too.
They could be.
But, yeah, they could be.
But same. I've never gone any other part of the day.
Yeah, if I don't go in the morning, it's not going to happen.
Yeah, same here.
Yeah, especially working all day. I'm like, I can't fathom thinking, oh, gee, now I got to go work out.
Yeah, at the end of the day, no.
Right. But no, we have a really good group in the morning, and we have fun, and 99% of the people there in the morning are nice and outgoing.
What brought you to Palm Springs?
Well, that's a big story. So working at the fertility clinic, I worked there for 13 years. The doctor, reproductive endocrinologist, and his partner was the CFO. They were living between Chicago and Rockford. They had been coming out here for years, decades, vacationing. So they knew that they were going to retire out here. And in 2016, they bought a house in Palm Springs. And then they were going to start winding down the practice and their participation. The goal was to actually sell it or close it by 2020. But they were approached, or what have you, or by the competing doctor in Rockford. So there was 2 fertility clinics in Rockford. We also had a clinic in Central Illinois in Peoria, and also for a while in Madison. But we closed that one down. But anyways, the competing doctor, they struck up a deal, and they sold it to him. And there was also another physician in the practice, so he hired him on. And the doctor and his partner, the CFO, that one doctor was going to stay on as lab director, because we had our own lab in our clinic in Rockford. That guy did not. He was going to the suburbs of Chicago to do his procedures, his IVF and embryo transfers, egg retrievals and embryo transfers, things like that. We had our own lab. So it's like, that's probably the reason why he's buying us, so he can keep everything in Rockford. So he bought us, it was November 2017. And then in early December, he came in and says, yeah, I'm shutting the lab down. I'm not going to use it.
He buys a lab and then shuts it down?
Well, he bought the whole clinic. He bought the whole clinic. He bought the whole practice. He bought all,
Wow.
patients and everything. So he comes in and he shuts down the lab. And so then our 2 embryologists were let go. Tracy, our amazing surgical tech, she was let go. And then the one doctor who was supposed to be the lab director, no, you don't have a lab, you don't need a director, so he was out of the picture. The CFO, he was already out of the picture. When he structured the deal or whatever, he knew he was going to be out of a job, and he was fine with that. He was 6 years old at the time. So anyways, so they bought a place in 2016. So that happened. They're like, well, we're just going to move to Palm Springs. I'm like, okay. So he shut down the lab, and it was just kind of like, So going along, and then January of 2018, he ends up firing the other doctor that he bought the practice from. And I'm like, okay, I'm not working for this dude. I'm out of here. So the doctor and the CFO, they're like, hey, they bought a house here in Palm Springs that has a casita and everything. And they're like, you're interested in moving to Palm Springs? I'm like, yeah. Are you sure? They're like, yeah. And it was an amazing opportunity, so I took it. They were going to come out here and get established, set up more in their house because it was just a kind of a temporary thing. And then I had a house. I had a big, beautiful 2,400 square foot all brick mid-century house in Rockford that I had to sell. That was my baby. Had a big estate sale. Got rid of most of my stuff. Of course, I acquired it all out here. And then we shared. They had stuff as well. We shared a moving truck, and then I arrived here July 4th, 2018.
Wow, not that long ago then.
Yeah, I'm going on 7 years.
Yeah.
Yeah. So I stayed in their casita for a while, and then I found a job. I tried finding a job in medical out here, which you'd think would be easy, but I had a really hard time. I was an office manager, and then I got bumped down to assistant office manager when they did the buyout, and I just either I was like overqualified or underqualified, or I was going to Desert Regional, I was going to Eisenhower, private clinics, and so then I got into property management, and that's where I'm today.
Are you still interested in the medical field?
Yeah, I know this is going to sound terrible, but like the recent bombing is like really kind of sparked my interest in infertility again. I really, really enjoyed doing that, and I really, really enjoyed helping people achieve their their goals or wishes or dreams. Our website was called WeMakeFamilies.com, so it was a lot of fun and really rewarding when we were able to do that. But there was a lot of heartache, a lot of sadness, and a lot of tears as well, because unfortunately not everybody's able to.
Was there a lot of I don't know how to ask this question because I don't want to get political, but I was just wondering, was there a lot of did you have to deal with protests working for in IBM?
No, we never had any issues like that. They some people first were connecting us with abortion clinics, and we made it abundantly clear. It's like, no, we do not do that here.
That's actually the opposite.
We were the total opposite. We were trying to. So, but no, we were lucky. We never had any issues. We once in a great while we'd get a funny voicemail from somebody, who was not exactly all there, and
thing like what happened here.
No, that's what kind of freaked me out when because I remember getting those voicemails, and there was maybe one or two in my whole 13 years or whatever, and maybe one weird letter, but that's what's like, wow, like this person, took it to so many different levels, and that really freaked me out. And then when I heard it too, I was just so worried about all the embryos and the sperm and eggs. Like, oh my God, did they get destroyed? Those
From
poor
what I
people.
understand, they didn't.
They didn't.
They didn't.
No, it was totally amazing. Like, it blew through the center of the building. I don't know if it was consultation rooms or whatever, and the lab was on the other end.
Yeah, that's
Because
luck.
yeah, 100%. I
Yeah,
mean, and nobody else died.
I know.
I mean, there's so many things that are just amazing outcomes from this, that miraculous in my opinion.
Yeah.
But because I saw pictures of them in the lab. I don't know if it was a fire department or whatever, and I could see the cryo tanks in the background. Um, and I'm not sure if they were. So what we used to do is we used to call it upcycle. We'd only do IVF and embryo transfers like 1 month at a time. So we'd be up 1 month and we'd be down another month and up. So I'm not sure if they were in the middle of an upcycle and they had anything in their incubators or not. From what it sounds like, everything survived. That's just amazing.
Okay, so looking back on your journey, coming out, making your home in Palm Springs, what are you most proud of?
I'm most proud of uh, actually doing it, executing it. I feel like a lot of times, especially in the past, I was a big chicken and a nervous Nelly. And
Really?
yeah, I wouldn't want to take any chances. And I mean, to the point where part of the reason why I graduated college and I moved back to Rockford was I was just too scared and intimidated to go anywhere else.
Mm-hmm.
Rockford right now is actually from my understanding, it's really turning around. It's actually one of the hottest housing markets in the United States, and I think more and more businesses are starting to go there. But for a long time, it was a huge manufacturing town, and then that all went away, to Mexico and China and whatever, and it was really a depressed city. So I should have gone to Chicago. I know I should have, but I didn't because I was just too nervous and intimidated.
Hmm.
So I'm proud of. I put my big boy pants on, and it's like, yep, I'm gonna take this opportunity. And I left my family. That was really, really tough, and sometimes still is tough. Um, and sold my big beautiful house and most of my possessions, and took a big chance and came out here.
What do you think
But
that? Oh, go ahead.
sorry, but I also had the support of my friends. They invited me out here, and they are so generous and so wonderful, and they helped me out, and or still help me out, and I helped them as well. That helped me to do this. It was still a huge thing. I still had, I was still nervous and wanted to back out a few times, but I was like, no, you got to do this because this is a huge opportunity. It may never happen again.
Hmm. Well, I appreciate you sharing that you were apprehensive or scared,
Oh yeah,
because I
I
think a lot
mean,
of people go through that. What do
yeah,
you
I mean, it was
what do you
just
think
that.
that Kevin of, when you were in your 20s or 30s would think of the Kevin today?
Oh wow, that's a good question. I
I mean,
think he, I think he would probably be like, "Wow, you're in Palm Springs? Holy cow! Like, how did you get out there?" Wow, I think he would be really really shocked. I think he would just be blown away. Like, how did this Rockford, Illinois boy get all the way out to big fancy Palm Springs? Yeah, he definitely would be.
so when you were young, like you sort of just envisioned that you would stay where you were. That's it. This is where I'll be.
Yeah, I mean, a lot of my family is, you know,
Is there?
born, raised, and died in Rockford. It was just what you did. I mean, I'm I'm old school. I'm an old soul. Like my family, a lot of them worked jobs their whole lives, the same job their whole life. They stayed in the same house.
Wow.
You know, my mother basically has been in her house since 1970.
Wow.
You know, yeah, yeah, that was our family home, and she's still there.
Wow.
So, cuckoo, sorry. Yeah, cuckoo. That's me.
It must be noon.
It is noon. Yeah, there was a lot of cuckoos. Yeah, so I mean, it was like, well, you know, I'm born and raised in Rockford, work in Rockford, and, you know, die and get buried in Rockford. It's just, that was what I figured my life would be.
Here you are in Palm Springs. What do you think of Palm Springs? You've been here 7 years. What is your
I love it. I love it. It's great. I mean, you know, it's a totally different way of life. I mean, not a lot of people throughout the country and especially throughout the world have the kind of life that we do. I mean, it's pretty amazing. I think we're probably, if not one of the largest gayest populations in the country, if not the world.
I think that's right. Per capita,
yeah.
I think.
Yeah. Mm-hmm. So, I mean, just, it's amazing. I love living here. I love the people, the area. The only slight downfall is the heat.
Yeah.
Because by September, I'm like, okay, I've had it. Let's, you know. And coming from the Midwest, I never thought I'd say I love winter.
I know, but the weather here from like October to May is it is amazing.
I know, it's amazing. It's amazing. I love it, you know.
I have one more thing. What's a piece of queer history you think people should know about?
I would say more about Harvey Milk. I know that it's been out there already, but I don't know. I kind of found him fascinating, what he did.
He was a big influence on making gay people more public, more out there.
Mm-hmm.
I think Harvey Milk is a great example.
Yeah. I mean, he kind of already is out there. People kind of already know about him, but
yeah,
I think it should be more.
And I think they actually teach about him in public schools here in California, which some areas have tried to not allow that. But the governor is really big on making sure that some queer history is taught. And Harvey Milk is part of that.
Cool.
So I think that's cool. Yeah.
All right.
Yeah. Well, thank you, Kevin.
You're welcome. Thank you. This was fun. I enjoyed it.
If you enjoyed this episode, please leave a review, 5 stars if you're feeling generous, and connect with me on Substack and Blue Sky at David B. Gore. Until next time, be bold, be free, be you.